Got a new review for you guys. Crafting for Sinners by Jenny Kiefer. This is her second novel. Her first you may have heard because it kind of blew up on TikTok and all that stuff with This Wretched Valley, which I deeply, deeply loved. And I really liked this sort of survival religious horror novel that she released. It follows Ruth. She's a bisexual woman living in a super small conservative Christian town with her girlfriend. They're trying to save up money to get out of there. Ruth's taking odd jobs here and there to try and make some money, particularly with like knitting and doing commissions. And she's out of yarn, so she goes to the arts and crafts store, which she used to work at, and she's been stealing from them and stuff like that as like a fuck you to the mega church that owns the arts and crafts store. And they lock her inside, and she has to try and survive from the people at the church who are trying to grab her for some mysterious reasons beyond just her shoplifting, and she's trying to figure out what do they want with me, and then also I need to get the fuck out. And she fights tooth and nail to try and get herself out. The premise is great. I remember when this first came out, like a year or two ago, whatever it was, and everyone's like, "Yeah, this woman's in a arts and crafts store, and she's fighting these crazed Christians," and it's super fun, and it hits the ground running pretty early on. And once the gas pedal fully goes down, it pretty much does not let up through the whole book. It's very fast paced, pretty violent and brutal. There's some really awesome kills and some really creative stuff using the arts and crafts store setting. I think Ruth's a very strong protagonist. It's great seeing some bisexual representation, which is often a miss in representation of the LGBT community. It really works with like in horror, a lot of people criticize like, oh man, I hate when the protagonist does something stupid. And in this, it really works that she makes some bad decisions because there is like this naive aspect to her character that she kind of recognizes at some point, and also is like kind of flustered, and you're just like, what the fuck's going on and stuff like that. But also balancing it with giving her some really smart and creative ways to problem solve, and it's just like, oh, you're doing the right things here too. So I think it's all about like a balance that she really finds that way. I still find some issues with the story and with the character. I think sometimes she's almost too naive at times where it almost doesn't make sense, especially when she makes some decisions and you go, yeah, okay, you're getting it. And then other times where it's like feels like she's taking steps back for reasons I really did not understand, and I felt a little unbelievable. And some aspects of the story, like little tiny things that just felt like were some logical leaps of like how are these people trying to grab her, and I'm just like, why are we doing it one person at a time? It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But I think the grand picture of the story really works. I think the direction it goes is a bit predictable, but still really satisfying. I didn't really need a big surprise to the grand plan that these Christian nationalists have. I think it makes a lot of sense. I just wish there was like an element or two that could spice it up and make it a little more unique and original rather than it being like, hey, we've kind of been here and done that in a lot of religious horror. But there is a small, tiny element to it that actually kind of makes it a little bit more unique too. So she tries to like kind of correct it, feels like, and try and balance like, hey, you kind of seen this before, but there's also an element here that's a little bit more original. But even without anything really being that surprising in the book, it's still all really satisfying. And I think that's ultimately what makes the book work, is it all goes in a direction that's fulfilling, and I was really like enjoyed the direction of the story, how it ended, and the arc that Ruth gets in this is really great. I think there's such a cathartic nature to this book, especially with the current political nature of things, and the government being in America being run by Christian nationalists, and a lot of people supporting it who are Christian nationalists. So this was a very cathartic read if you're in a country like America that is currently facing Christian nationalists as a major issue. But yeah, I just thought this was a super fun read, flawed but still a really great follow up to her incredible debut novel. And I'm all there for anything Jenny Kiefer writes if she can maintain this level of quality because she really has the stuff. So let me know. Did you read Crafting for Sinners? Have you read her other book, This Wretched Valley? Give me all your thoughts about Crafting for Sinners, This Wretched Valley, Jenny Kiefer. And for me, you can check out my book Unfold, Slow Burn Workplace Drama Meets Creature Feature. It's like 2/3 a workplace kind of thriller drama, and then last third is a full-on creature feature, super gory and brutal. And you can also check out my Substack. I post on every Sunday.